What is going on, guys? Man, my image is looking a little dark tonight. Let me see what I can do. Looking a little brighter. How is everyone doing? Hello to you all. We've got Lisa coming back in 20 minutes. Hello to you, Mindy. Thank you again for all the wonderful Tupperware. It's going to start getting some use here very soon. Going on a trip this Thursday or Friday, I believe. Turn down this music just a hair for you. Well, you guys, I think you guys can hear it okay. Mic check, testing. 1, 2, 3. How am I coming in over that audio? Is it pretty tidy? But yeah, welcome back to everyone. We're going to have an interesting show today. Pat, present and accounted for, as always. Thanks for dropping in. Treasures by Grace. Might be the first time I've seen your account. Welcome to the show. FGS in here as always. FGS, you got 15 minutes. This is a great time to get in touch with Mindy, get talking to her about our group chat. I'll be happy to extend a 1-month courtesy to you if you'd like to jump on in and see what all the fanfare is about. You've been a long-time supporter of the show. We'd be happy to have you. But yeah, tonight's show is going to be a big one. I know I said last week grab a pen and paper, but this week is certainly going to be one to grab a pen and paper. If you're a patron, you will not need to. My show notes are made available in our private page. We have a second page called Patron Lounge, and we post up show notes as well as slides from the show. And this week we have a 25 slide or 22 slide Google presentation that we're going to be essentially retelling for you. It's going to be a good show, though. A lot of info, and all those slides as well as all the notes will be available in the Patron Lounge. But if you're not a patron, then you're going to want to take a lot of notes tonight, because we're going to be covering all the stuff that nobody talks about. But I guarantee you, I don't care how long you've been selling online, you will not walk away without learning something new this evening. But hope everyone had a fantastic week of good sales so far. I don't know about you, but it feels like my sales just turned on this morning pretty much out of nowhere. It's just, they started flowing in. Some pretty good stuff too. Couple of 20s. I think I had a 40. Yesterday I sold, I don't know if you guys remember that golden tee, that golf set that I said I was going to send out to Amazon. That sold for $150. And then I also sold that board game. I think it was called Fine Art. Is some type of like buy sell auction style board game, and that sold for $130, and that was another item shown on the show. And if you want to see those images, sometimes I post them up to the group, sometimes we post them up in Patreon. And like I said before, we have plenty of time before the show starts. I went ahead and put up a Patreon link for you so you can go check it out. Less than 75 cents a day, you can support the show and get some fantastic perks in return. And I know I plug it every single time, but we don't really talk about some of the finer details of what I do for people who are helping support the show. If you get a customer that's giving you all kinds of trouble, then you can come to me and say, hey, Jay, can you help me out with a letter? And I'll help you put together a letter. Or if you say, hey, I got this negative feedback, how does it qualify for me to be able to get it removed? Like, what can I do to get that removed? What do I tell customer service? And we offer basic consulting, and then if you need advanced consulting, we can offer that too. Hey Lisa, did I give you a warm welcome last week when you joined? I think I said I gave you the welcome last week. We got you put into our new slide, and I didn't get the outro finished, and I don't feel like playing it again unfinished, so we're gonna do a no outro. More than warm, that's good. Thank you. I'm happy to hear that then. And make sure you get into group chat. I haven't seen your face in there much, but there's a lot of great communication going on in there right now. Pat says, lots of info, Jay. I have to cut back my content intake for us at the Valiant Heart community, but all of us watch your information, including Pat himself. Okay, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Yeah, I hope things do get easier for you out there as well. I understand some of the work that you guys do, and I hope it eases up, especially coming into the holidays. It's crazy to think. What are we, almost halfway through Q3 at this point? And feels like we just got it going. August, September, October. No. Yeah, we're trucking along, right? Are we more than halfway? May, June, July. Oh, gosh, we're 2/3 of the way through Q3. We're a month away from Q4. Next week, we're probably going to have to do Q4 prep guides. to get everyone up to speed. It's crazy how quick this year is moving. It's no worries. I do it for personal info, not glory. No, you do it for fun. Yeah, come say hello to everyone and come interact, and you know, that's some of the things too I've noticed with new people when they come into the group chat is some people will use it and they'll interact and they'll, you know, make new friends and ask questions and have a great time, and then other people will not use it at all and then silently cancel like 2 weeks later and then wonder why they didn't enjoy it. Money for Mars for the first time ever during our pre-roll. You know what we should do? We should start backing the show up earlier just to make it a little more difficult on you. Now, believe it or not, I had given some thought to actually cranking the show back earlier because I noticed some people have to leave halfway through the show. So I am playing around with the idea of moving the show to 4 o'clock and possibly as early as 3 o'clock, and that's Pacific Standard Time. So we're thinking either 1 or 2 hours earlier than right now. So we might do like a straw vote on that and see where everyone's head's at. But I know for some of the far East Coasters, those who are +4, when the show ends, it's awfully late. So if everyone would be on board with that, I'd be happy to bump it up to 4. And I think 4 would be a more valuable time slot on eBay as well. This old lady goes to bed at 9 o'clock Eastern. It's almost time for you then. Almost time, Mindy. But yeah, we were thinking about moving it up. East Coast folks like me would be great starting at 4 your time. Yeah. And you know what? Okay, we'll try 4. We'll try 4 during the next show. We'll give it a go, and I'll let everyone know today that we're going to be moving it up. I'll mention it at the top of the hour. Let me put the notes in there. Because I know some people are just going to fast forward through this. Show moving back to 4 p.m. And it would be nice. It'd be easier on the internet as well. Hey, did you leave your full-time job to become a reseller? That'd be fantastic. And again, I always tell people this, like I don't know all the screen names and everything, so if I know who you are, fantastic. If I don't, I apologize. But if you aren't part of the Patreon community, you got to get checking it out. Perfines. Hi, Jay. I'm good with earlier. Yeah. Florida. Yeah, okay. Next week, we're going to move it back to 4 p.m. We're going to see how that works. And if you guys want, we might go as early as 3 p.m. because I wouldn't mind, personally, getting it done a little bit earlier. Maybe we'll try 3. I mean, would you guys be okay with 2 hours earlier, or is that too early? Or maybe even 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. Yes, 1 week and 2 days ago. Well, now I'm really confused. 3 might be better. Here, let me look into this. Let me see who you are. We had so much going on over this last week and a half. The only person I'm seeing joining over the last month is Lisa, I believe. Or the last month it was Lisa and Robert with Future Fortunes. If you guys want to do 3 p.m. Eastern time, I can aim for 3 p.m. I have no problem giving that a go. That'd be 2 hours earlier. Some days are going to be a little bit harder, but yeah, you know what? I think we can do it. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll say tentative 3 to 4 p.m. We'll do a vote in the group this week. Pam, Pam, if you want to run an awesome poll, we can go ahead and do that. Yeah, we got a ton of slackers, Lisa, and you know the thing is we have some really, really big perks now because we have the Prairie Grit perk. You get that bundled in. And then on top of that, we're working with another company and we're working an exclusive deal over there as well. We're trying to jam-pack value into it right now, but there's only one me, and I cannot wait till the day where I sit down and everything else has been taken care of for me. Somebody's like, yeah, just hop in front of the camera and do what you do. But this is what I tell people, like, people don't realize the disgusting amount of hours that go into making this work. I'll show you, because I made a really rookie mistake this year when I went to eBay Open and I took all the pictures. I took a ton of pictures during the Google presentation, but where I screwed up was I didn't get a great seat, and that, I guess that was an error on my part. But it was my first time doing it, and I didn't realize how important that was going to be. So a lot of my photos are at really awkward angles, and I had to go through and manually adjust and fix each and every photo. So I'll show you what they look like here. You can see how that aspect ratio is all screwed up and like one side's all cockeyed from the other. You'll see today, like, I had to go through and re-stretch and reproportion all those photos, and that took like over 2 hours to get done, and then get them in order, get my notes lined up. Probably took like 4 or 5 hours to put together the notes for tonight. There's just a lot going on, and then researching news, cross-checking news. Greetings, Sam. Salutations. Lisa says, I joined because you bring serious info that you don't get from others in the community. You know what? I think I'm in my own little ecosphere. And I tell people, you know, you can watch whoever you want and pick up some entertainment and have a good time, but I tell you, if you're looking for a serious education with a little bit of fun mixed in, then this is the place you want to be. No pink cup today. We got the hot dog on a stick cup, a giant cup of water. And some people were giving me some trouble about the size of this cup, and I tell them, you try talking for 2.5 or 3 hours straight and see how thirsty you get. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Sam. Hopefully you see the Disney reference tucked in this shirt. We got a... Oh, God. But yeah, as I was saying, we're just trying to add as much value to Patreon as possible. It's actually a little bit unfortunate. Our Patreon numbers are down right now. We had a couple of people come on board. We had one person come on board because they knew if they came on board, we would waive the shipping cost on an item that we showed on the show, and they'd be able to get the discounted rate on it. And then they canceled within a month before we received any payment from them. So that was really unfortunate. And then we had another person who signed up, never used group chat, never joined into Patron Lounge, was there for like a month, and then canceled as well. So I tell people it's just like going to the gym. You know, you sign up for a gym membership, and if you don't ever go to the gym, you're not going to receive any of the benefits of it. So we're actually going to start vetting people a little bit more, because it does take time out of my day to add people to the credits, to add people to the on-screen thank you card, to manage and get them into the group chat. So we're not going to be so casual about it. We're going to talk with people a little bit and make sure that they're in this to win this and that they're looking to do the long game. And then we had a couple of people who had to dial back. They're just managing some personal stuff in life right now, and they're not focusing on reselling. So our funding is probably a 3-month low right now, which is just mildly frustrating coming off of eBay Open. And I appreciate you popping in and reading those, Lisa. Yeah, there's a lot of content, and some of the stuff is going to be just like just off topic, and I get that. It's not going to be for everyone. Some people are going to talk about family and life and stuff like that, but I try and get in there and infuse at least a little bit of fun or something that we can get ready to speak about on air or gain value from. Guys, before the show even starts, if you'd like to, I'd love it if you slap that like button for me. It definitely helps us out with the production. Make sure other people get an opportunity to see it as well. Beth Bryant, hello to you. How are you this evening? We got Dan in the house. Good to see you as always. Debbie Does Sales. Good to see you in here too. Hope you're doing well today. We got a chance to speak earlier, which was lovely. I love it when I get to talk with you guys before the show gets going. And don't ever be afraid to reach out to me if you have some questions or some queries, or if there's something you want to talk about or have me talk about on the show. Maybe you just didn't want to put a post up in the group and you just want somebody to touch base on a topic. And then if you're one of those people that just doesn't have Facebook, you just don't use it, but you have Instagram, you can reach out to us on Insta. I'll go and put the link up for you right there. And we post up some behind the scenes stuff. We post up some extra contest over there. We do some really just cool stuff, and Pam is a huge help with that as well. I saw you earlier. Hello to you as well, Pam. 30 people watching. We got 12 likes. Let's get that up to at least 15. You're killing me, guys. We got 2 minutes till we're live. I had to fire my music guy. I don't know if I told you guys about that. I hired somebody to create music, and he had sent over one original track in the first 40 days, and then he messaged me to tell me that he was going to be going on vacation in a week, wouldn't be able to do anything till then, wouldn't be able to do anything for the week that he was going to be gone, and I had prepaid for everything, and I said, dude, I'm like, you're done, man. I'm like, you're fired. I'm like, I can't work with you anymore. So I ended up doing the PayPal dispute, getting all my money back, and it was just a waste. And I really like the guy. I like the work that he does. And the first song really wasn't on par with exactly what we were looking for, but we're trying to get an audio library built for the channel, especially before I finish up the eBay Open vlog video that I frankly haven't started on yet because, well, I'm just busy. I'll be honest with you. I've just been far too busy. So hopefully we'll get going on it here soon. Thank you to the 17 people who clicked the like button. I do appreciate that. Dun, 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 dun. 30 seconds until go time. Oh, and on top of that, guys, if you're not a patron, you missed out on a really savage training video, a private one that we released. Some of you guys are real slick. I like how everyone shows up at exactly top of the hour. It's impressive. I don't have that type of accuracy. And if you guys don't know, we run this exceptionally accurate. Like when we're on time and everything's going smoothly, we're within 10 seconds of 5 o'clock top of the hour. Mindy, is it that time? Is it time to get the show going? It's time to rock it out. Let's go. I agree with you, Mindy. Let's get this party started. What is going on, guys? This is Jay Kraft with the Facebook group Bolo Pickers Lounge, coming at you live from beautiful Bakersfield, California. Today is August 4th, 2019. I'm coming at you with another one of our regular Sunday shows where we're going to be covering more stuff and more information than you're going to find anywhere else during this very, very specific time slot. If you've come here for the entertainment, I'm sorry. I am all out, but if you're here for education, you have found the right guy. Tonight we're going to be covering a bunch of important information for you as a seller. When I went to eBay Open 2019, I sat down and had 2 conferences, one for Google SEO and one for eBay's Cassini SEO. I went ahead and did a favor and gathered all the details that you need to know, as well as asked some hard questions, and I can provide some hard answers for you as well. On top of that, we're going to be what else are we talking about? We got some eBay news that we're going to be covering and some Amazon news as well. Some interesting stories this week, but we've kind of compressed them and bunched them up a little bit differently than we normally do, and we're just going to kind of see how it works for you guys. But as always, this is a live Q&A, and if you have any questions during the show, don't be afraid to drop in the comments down below, and I'll do my best to get you accurate answers. Yeah. But while you're here, make sure you enjoy yourself. Say hello to the other people in the audience. Tonight we have 33 people with us, which is amazing, and an extra special thank you to 2 very important people in the audience. Mindy and Pam are moderators again this evening, making sure that everything stays clean and concise in the comments. Guys, if you missed out this week, I did a very, very special training video. Now, it didn't get uploaded to the channel in a way that you can normally see it, but if you're a patron, I want you to go back and check it out. We talked about a very, very specific collector's category that I've been making $500 to $1,000 each week within for the last month or so. It's a very, very hot category. Go back and check out that training. If you're interested in gaining personal access to it, either join our Patreon or send me a direct message and we can talk about it as well. So now, before we get into the nit and grit of this week, I want to talk to you about something that I saw the other day that really struck a chord with me, because I'm getting really, really fed up of where society is going right now as far as work ethic. And I know when you hear me say that, it's coming from an interesting position, because for most of you, I appear to be about half your age, or sometimes as far as a quarter of your age. Now, I'm 34 and I'll be 35 here in just about a month or so. So it's coming up real quick. And I know what you're going to say. Yes, I'm still a baby and I understand that, but I do see the changes that are happening within our society right now, and it truly bothers me. This lack of this real work ethic, this passion, this drive, this fire for success seems to be lost amongst our youth. I was driving home from doing a wonderful evening of rock climbing, and I look over to my side as I pull up to a light, and what do I see? I see a disabled gentleman wearing a collared shirt, hair slicked back perfectly, towel over his shoulder, towel in his back pocket, and a squeegee in his hand. And it's 104 degrees outside at 5 p.m. This gentleman is squeegeeing windows to the cars that come by. Not because he has to. I'm sure there's other opportunities out there for him if he's going to invest the time into it, but he did it because that's the opportunity that he wanted to take advantage of, and he didn't want to, I don't know, succumb to the reality that a lot of people do nowadays, that some things are just simply too darn hard to get done. And we closed out our show last week about talking about not finding yourself in positions where you won't follow through with things simply because they are too difficult. And it was just really inspiring to me to see that somebody in that position going through all the challenges and all the struggles, comparative to those who don't have to go through those challenges and struggles and the excuses and the thought processes that they go through. So I say if you see somebody in that position, stop and give them a little bit of praise. I'm not necessarily saying give them your money, but stop and tell them, hey, you're somewhat inspiring. Keep it up. Things will get easier. The more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. And I've always felt that way. Continue to push forward. Continue to try hard. Even on your challenging days as an eBay seller, just remember, even when sales are slow, you go out and you can't find good inventory, it could always be much harder. We're very fortunate in our lives that for most of us that we have the opportunity to be able to work easier. We'll be able to work smarter, not work harder. So even on the bad days, just remember, it can genuinely be worse. It can genuinely be harder. And we're all very fortunate that we have the opportunity to buy and sell for a living. So let's go ahead and move on over to our main bit for today. As always, you can see our super chat ticker in the corner. I'd just like to let people know a special thank you. This is our Patreon thing. And there's some people, this blows my mind. Some people still don't know what Patreon is. It's an opportunity for you to help support our show. We'd like to give an extra special thank you to Pam, Matthew, Ashley, Anna and Joe, Allie, Lee James, Brandy, and Rob for their extended support of the show, but an extra special thank you to everyone who does support our show. Like I said, without you guys, it simply wouldn't be possible. If you've been considering it, you're on the bubble, wait till the end of the show. We're going to give you a couple extra reasons to go ahead and get signed up with us. Let me make sure my slideshow is actually working today. I think I may have busted it already. I love it. And the crazy thing is I'll test everything before the show starts, but the moment we get rolling, we'll have some issues. So guys, we got a bunch of stuff going on with eBay news right now. Somebody had posted up an image within our group, facebook.com/Bolorama, and they had concern with the date stating that they had 32 days left on their good till canceled. For some reason, somebody who likes to wear their butt on their head decided to jump in and pretty much attack the person with their query. Yes, there has been changes to the way that GTC or good till cancel functions on eBay, but you shouldn't really be seeing a 32-day unless, of course, it's trying to get routed back in sync with the rest of the listings, because we have anomalies where obviously some months have 28 days, some months have 30 days, and then there's periods where eBay needs to level the listings out. Well, apparently with some of these glitches right now, people are getting double charged for their listings. And no one likes to take the time to go back through and take a look at your eBay bill, but I would strongly recommend you do it this month of all months, because if you have a couple thousand listings online and your store only provides you with X amount of free listings, there's a somewhat of a fair chance that someone watching this show right now has been double charged. We don't know exactly how many people are being affected by this glitch as of yet. And frankly, eBay doesn't know either. They said that they can't really put their finger on the distinguishing factor that's causing some members to get double charged. So take a moment, go through your eBay bill, and make sure that you're not one of those people that's being affected by that right now. Now, while we're on the topic of GTC, good till canceled listings, did you guys hear the news that easy pricing just kind of vanished off the platform? Yeah, so I had a discussion with Cardi over at Street Pricer. Cool company. We'll be talking about them more later this month regarding declining prices on eBay. And if you don't remember, it was roughly June, July 2018, eBay released a function to where you could run your listing and say, hey, every week go ahead and lower the price of this listing 5% until it sells or until you reach my threshold. And that was something that they rolled out in hopes of being able to stimulate sales or being able to encourage people to who didn't want to be hands-on with their pricing to be able to allow eBay to take it on board as well. And now this was met with an absolute ton of criticism from people within the eBay community saying eBay is trying to tell us what to do, eBay is attempting to control our pricing, and with all things on eBay that are opt-in, I just shrugged my shoulder at them and I shook my head and I say, if you have the choice to opt in, if you don't like it, just simply don't do it. It's that easy. But what really threw me for a curveball is when I was speaking with Cardi, I argued and I wagered, and he said, I'll bet you a beer that eBay doesn't have a feature like that. And I said, of course, I will accept your challenge and I will challenge you 24-fold. I'll buy you a case of beer if I'm wrong. And I dig through the site and I start looking for the feature, and guess what? I can't find it. And we're not talking like, the feature is difficult to turn on. They scrubbed the entire site of the existence of this feature. It's not within the terms of service. It's not within any of the help pages. It's almost entirely gone from the community boards as well. It is gone, really gone. And at that point, I was very confused as to what was going on, so I did what any sensible person would do, and I called eBay. And I was fortunate enough now that I receive concierge service due to being with eBay Open, which I'm just going to say is a wild experience. I was able to call concierge, get connected with an American representative within 2 minutes. And I said, hey, where is easy pricing? How do I turn it on? How do I turn it off? What's going on? And he came back to me 3 minutes later. He actually went and consulted with people that were able to give him answers and said, hey, eBay actually quietly removed that feature from the site. Interesting. And I'm like, when did this happen? He said, it happened when they made good till canceled the mandate for buy it now listings. Really? And he said, yeah, apparently there was some issues with compatibility regarding 3, 5, 7, 10, and 30-day listings. So when they moved everything to GTC, they essentially took the feature along with it, and there's a small chance that it may come back again in the future, but we can't confirm or deny that as of now. It's just speculative. So if you ever use that feature and you're wondering what happened, there's your answer, okay? Hello to everyone else who's just showing up right now. Hi to you, Donna, Hillbilly Picker. Thank you for the compliment on the shirt. You know, this shirt makes me want to go to Disneyland, but I wouldn't mind having some form of unbranded alcoholic beverage right now. Yeah, we got to avoid the brand names. My video got flagged last week. I don't know if you noticed that. All the revenue that I had earned from advertising got thrown directly into the trash. YouTube kept all of that revenue because apparently my video last week was not advertiser friendly. So who knows? FGS says it was on mine when I listed a few minutes ago. I know because it annoys me. If you have evidence of it still existing, please send me a screenshot of it. I would love to see that because I have a case of beer on the line right now, and I will share some with you if you were able to help me prove my point. As far as I know, it should be off the site. You may be running an old version of the iOS app that for some reason isn't properly connecting and fetching the new version of the interface as well. So on top of that, this week, eBay has gone ahead and filed 3 more lawsuits against Amazon. Why? The same thing as before, racketeering charges. There's a handful of managers over at the Amazon corporate, I guess is the best way to put it, who, due to the aid of an eBay whistleblower, have been able to press charges against them for attempting to recruit sellers from eBay to come across and sell their goods on Amazon. Now, I understand how these RICO or these racketeering laws work, but at some point you have to say, is it really anti-competitive to try and go after valuable sellers? I mean, it really depends on how you're doing it. Are you giving them something extra? Are you saying, hey, come to our site and we'll give you, $20,000 to start selling over here? That would be highly illegal. But if you're coming to them and you're saying like, hey, have you ever considered alternate selling platforms? That's what I do all the time. I tell people like, hey, have you tried Prairie Grit? Why? Because, well, it's in mine and the show's and the brand's best interest that people go give Prairie Grit a go. Okay, but I wouldn't call that, some type of racketeering. I wouldn't say that I'm trying to like fix the market and get people over there. So yeah, eBay is going for it again. This is their second time filing lawsuits against Amazon for poaching sellers. I just thought it was interesting. I thought it was something that was worth mentioning during the show. As always, guys, if you have any questions about any of these stories or anything you'd like to know, just let me know. Just pulled it up on mobile on my phone, gave me easy pricing options. Send me an image of that. Yeah, because I here's the thing. I tried to do it on PC, could not see it on PC. And then when I called, that's what they told me. Now, I know there's the other option. It's not necessarily the easy pricing. There's another one that you can turn on. Oh, the promoted listings. I know that I've been prompted for promoted listings at the time of listing. So yeah, send over a screenshot. You can either send it over to our Instagram at Reseller Roundup, or you can send it over to our Facebook. Would love to see that. In other news, Devin Wenig had an opportunity to speak with, give me one second, Wortfilter.de, that's spelled WORTFILTER.de. I believe that's a Denmark URL. This is a German-based company, and he had been interviewed during eBay Open here domestically, and I'm referencing that because of where we're going to be moving here in 1 second. Thank you for firing that over to me, Lisa. I'll definitely check that out. And he was asked a bunch of questions, and I thought it would be good to touch base on some of the highlights from that to kind of give you an idea on how he communicates with people who aren't here domestically. What does Devin sell on eBay? I would love to know. I mean, if you really want, I'm sure I could pull his store info, but I doubt he does any of the management on it. It's got to be like a shell account where somebody else is selling on his behalf, because let's be realistic, okay? Don't tell me that you work for a Fortune 5, I think they're Fortune 500, maybe Fortune 1000 at this point. Don't tell me you work for a Fortune 500 company. You make $16 million a year, which, mind you, is about 8 to 12 times the average for a CEO of a company generating that level of revenue, positive revenue, and that you also list on eBay. Because I know where the benchmarks are. Like me, myself, I could make, I don't know, let's say let's say I got paid a crazy amount to do this job. Let's say some station picked me up and offered me $150,000 a year. I would still sell on eBay. But if I'm making $16 million a year, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. The day I break $1 million a year not listing, I'm done listing. Okay, you just don't need that anymore. I'll still go buy. I love sourcing. I love finding stuff, but you're not going to catch me listing items anymore. I'll give them away before I stop and list them. $5 super chat from Hillbilly Picker. Thank you so much for that. I always appreciate it. Don't forget, guys, you can leave a comment or question with your super chat. That $5 does go a long ways towards helping with our production cost and helping us do our research on the news. Again, as always, don't be afraid to reach out to us on Facebook if you'd like to talk with us about joining our community. Those of you who donate through the show, we'd still like to extend a thank you to you as well. So thank you very much for that. So he was asked a bunch of questions, and I went ahead and gathered some key notes regarding it, okay? And he had stated that last year during eBay Open, he felt that seller protections had come up very short. It left a lot of people feeling like their issues weren't really resolved and that things weren't getting any better, and that's why he feels there was so much emphasis on seller protections this year. It was something that people wanted and something that people craved. On top of that, he says that he cares deeply about the German market and that they've been making large advances in that area, and he's been making advances within the German market that haven't been made anywhere else. Okay, they're specific to Germany and that region, which we know. We've talked about this before, about how Australia and Europe as a whole have been testing beds for different innovations that are coming to eBay. And I found it interesting, too, when we talked about managed payments, how managed payments was rolled out here in America first, and now, coming into next year, we're seeing it coming to the EU or the German market as well. So it's interesting. On On top of that, the two big things that they've done out there that we simply don't have out here is they have eBay Plus, which is your pseudo Amazon Prime offering out there that's available in Europe, also available in Australia. And then they also have eBay Catch. Okay, and eBay Catch is very similar to eBay Daily Deals, but it's much better. It's much, much better. So eBay Catch basically is a millennial shopping experience. And we've talked about this before. I know some of you guys hate the word millennial. Guess what? I'm a millennial. At 35, I'm going to be a millennial still. I mean, that's not going to change, but that's how wide the range is, and I don't think some people understand that. But they offer low-cost goods, high quality. They aim for trending items, things that people are actually interested, actually caring about, and they're focusing more on a visual shopping experience. And I've said this before, what are you going to do to capture the youth? Make it easy for them. Show them pictures, show them bright colors, show them stories. And I'm not trying to make it sound like we're talking to a dumb generation, but let's be very realistic here, okay? They have a lot of buying power. They don't value the money the same. They have a different concept on the value of time. You know, they go through, they'll want to make things very, very quick in one area, but they'll just burn countless amounts of hours in others. So they're understanding the way that type of consumer works. And it's very impressive to see that happening. And they're looking for a very fast and easy shopping experience for them. What's up, Rusted Raccoon? And Hillbilly Picker as well. Thank you for being a supporter. It means a lot to me when people say stuff like that, especially when we get our quick haters dropping in too. Thank you for those too, guys. On top of that, when asked about what you want from your German dealers, your German sellers in specific, what do you want to see? You know what he said? Stop selling on Amazon. That's what he said publicly. And he said, well, can you give us any other stuff? What would be number 2 and number 3 that you would like to see from the dealers in Germany? And he said, stop selling on Amazon, stop selling on Amazon. Those were his 3 things that he wanted to say to the German market, which, eBay Open was a long event. They didn't catch him at the beginning of the event. They probably caught him at the end of the event. And I think it's funny. I think it's snarky. I really do think that he's aiming for that. I don't know. I don't want to say like an Elon Musk-esque type attitude as a CEO, but it's nice to see Devin kind of having a little bit of fun with his position, because the thing is, it's one thing to be very like uptight and very fact-based and get everything right, but when you get a lot of stuff wrong and you're uptight, it's not that great. You can get some stuff wrong, but as long as you have a little bit of fun with it. I mean, look at the new, what's his name? The new MP out in Europe. That goofy-haired guy. You guys know who I'm talking about. But yeah, the guy's often wrong, but he has a good time doing it. It really changes public perception. I want our leader at eBay to be looked at fondly. I just want to start seeing things go correctly, because God knows I've hammered on the subject for hours and hours on end. On top of that, guys, what we're looking at here in the future, eBay Open in Germany is on the way. I didn't even know this was a thing until this week. And it's going to be coming here. I believe it's about 1 month out, maybe a month and a half out. So it's going to be very interesting to see how quickly eBay pivots across, as well as if there's going to be any new information coming out. From what I'd gathered so far, looking through the agenda, and yes, I translated the page from German to English, so that way I'd be able to bring you this. It seems as if, though, we're seeing a lot of the same panels being covered in Germany as they were covered here in America, but with our foreign counterparts. We got people from Germany, Denmark, Scotland, Netherlands, who are going to be doing the presenting, more of just a regional flavor. I didn't see any information to show that Devin himself was going to be there, which would be interesting, but I can't see a reason why he wouldn't be there, unless they have a super high level executive there that takes on a leadership role, or is the face of eBay in the Europe market that would be doing some of the presenting. But on top of that, it's cheap. It was really cheap, because you guys know eBay Open this year was $450. It was prohibitively expensive, and that obviously didn't cover hotel and hotel airfare, accommodations, everything like that. eBay Open Germany is going to be $135. That's it. And that's for the 2-day experience. I frankly think it might have been better just to wait, get a really early plane ticket and fly out to Germany and just go to eBay Open there. I think I could have done it for about the same dang price. So hopefully we'll see some price reductions for eBay Open next year, but let's be realistic. It's going to be $450 and, if not $500. I think we know that already. Hello, Tia Leah. Hello, Tia Matthew. Happy to see you here. Long time no talk. Send me a DM sometime, buddy. Hello, Tia CatCon. Again, long time no see. And Adam, I'll tell you right now, when I went into it, I said $450. Oh yeah, that's robbery. That's madness. But now from the outside looking in and looking at the value of everything that I got there, for someone like myself, that's a fine price. Now, if you're the person who's going and you really don't have a reason to be there, and there's a lot of people like that, and I don't want to sound like I'm slighting anyone who went there who was a small-time seller, but I talked to people because they had this big old buffet thing, and I did a filming of it. It's on my channel, and I got my plate, and I went and sat down, and I sat down with strangers. I said, hey, is this chair open? And they're like, oh no, go ahead. And I pulled the chair out, sat down, and I got to just know just who was there. And I talked with people at eBay Open who were doing $50 to $100 million a year, all the way down to people who were doing $5,000 a year. So we're talking they are taking 10% of their gross revenue and investing it into going to eBay Open. That's a little bit horrifying. But if you're going there and you're looking to network, you're looking to talk with brands, talk with sellers, and you know how to kind of game the system to get some of your value back, next year, I'll tell you, when I go, I'm going to eat probably about $100 worth of their food. I didn't realize how much food they were going to have, how many meals were going to get covered. Had no clue. I'll eat $100 worth of food, no problem. I'll go to the S-Band meeting. I'll have $100 worth of alcohol or hors d'oeuvres and, take 2 bottles of water, the $16 bottles of water back to the hotel with me. There's a lot of ways to recoup value at eBay Open, and we'll talk about that next year when it comes up. And I know this is what I'm really excited about. I've been talking with you guys in group chat. I know a bunch of you are going to be going next year. So if we have a bunch of people going, we're going to talk with brands and see if they're willing to sponsor our trip next year, save everyone a little bit of money. I don't know why my total didn't update in the corner either for Streamlabs. Give me 1 second. Let me see what's going on with that. Oh, my Streamlabs had crashed. Let me get this restarted. Session restarted. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Because I know you donated $5, and I don't know if I'll be able to make that show up now. I apologize for that. Let me take a look at these comments real quick. Tupperware fundraiser. There we go. I'll admit it could be worse. South by Southwest is like 3 times the price for nosebleed seats. South by Southwest was a great convention the first year, maybe the second year. And then it just kind of went downhill. I look at it the same way that I look at E3. It's just lost value over time. Hillbilly Picker says, eBay Open is in my sights for next year. I'm going to hit Vegas wide open. I'll tell you, if you want to make it happen, you can make it happen. I would say that if you're somebody who can truly gain value, and we'll do a video as soon as the tickets drop, and we'll do, or maybe even a week before, and we'll say, are you the type of person who should be going to eBay Open? And we'll answer those questions and kind of explain it. And I'm going to be doing a little bit of explanation within the vlog video that I do as well. So, there's going to be more details coming up regarding eBay Open Germany as well. And as soon as we have those details for you, we'll be bringing them to you. I really wish my slideshow would work here. This would be fantastic if it did. I think I broke something. Guys, we're going to talk a little bit about Amazon. Ah, God. Ooh, pinched a nerve. We're going to talk about Amazon here real quick. That's what we do. We talk about eBay news. We talk about Amazon news. Did you guys hear about this kid who was shipping out dirt? And I know I don't mean to change gears so darn hard, but there's a 22-year-old kid, okay, who was buying packages off of Amazon. And we're not talking cheap ones. We're talking game consoles. We're talking laptops. We're talking high-end $1,000, $2,000 pieces and components. Opening up the box, he would weigh it first. He would weigh the box. Okay, 6 pounds, 4 ounces. Open the box up, remove the item, fill the box with dirt, the exact same amount, reseal it, and then send it back to the warehouse. Okay, we're not talking a little. How much was it? I can't even remember. I think it was $320,000 worth of goods that he had done this with. How? How do you do this? How do you get away with boxing up so much dirt and sending it back? And apparently what they said is that a lot of this stuff would just sit on the warehouse. And you guys know as well as I do how difficult it can be to get the information of a customer who screwed you, to be able to pin it down, as well as to be able to determine if he's doing it to other people. And this has been an issue with Amazon for a long time. We've talked about this. Now, is this something that you would really see happen on, I guess, eBay per se? Not really. And this is one of the things that happens when you have a company that scales so darn fast. You guys know how we talked about how Amazon was going to be making efficiencies and changes to the way that they box their items? I watched a news article from February of 2018 talking about the exact same thing. I would have had no idea that that was on Amazon's radar all the way back then, because things are still exactly the same right now. That's how bad the situation is. Nothing has seemingly changed since then. So we've had this issue. I don't know if you guys heard this story or not. There was a gentleman, and this is a crazy story. There was a gentleman who was in a really crazy marriage, and he went on Reddit and he talked about this, and he talked about how he was worried his wife was going to have him killed, because what she was doing is essentially the same thing. She would go to the back of Best Buy and she would get all of these boxes from the demo units of laptops and other high-end electronics, and she would bring them home and she would do a similar thing. She'd fill them with dirt, she'd fill them with tiles, she'd fill them with whatever else, box them up, and then she would send them in to Amazon inventory. Okay, she had her account set up to be commingled, which means her items would sit next to other people's items. And when somebody ordered an item, it wasn't necessarily hers that was getting pulled. And she sent in, I think it was close to like $1.5 or $2 million worth of electronics, and got away with it scot clean. Okay, and he was talking about what was going on. He was saying that he was worried to leave her, and she said that if he ever did, like, you know, he was going to be a dead man, because he knew her secret about what was going on. So he had to anonymously talk about this on Reddit. It was the craziest thing, and I'll dig up that story for you guys if you want to see it. But yeah, she had done this for years and years on end. So when I hear about this kid doing this, he had done this for, $330,000 worth of revenue. And what makes the whole thing really crazy is not only was he getting the inventory sent to him, coming up with tons of stuff, him being the entrepreneur that he is, decided to open his own business and start selling off those electronics as well. And apparently, it was a pretty successful business. Who would have ever thought that when your margins are 100% and your cost of acquiring goods is $0, that you can make an absolute killing? And now this isn't the first time. Like I said, this isn't the first time that we've seen these types of things happen. We also heard in the news, I don't have the notes here on it as well, but we also heard about a pawn shop ring that had happened with people who were in charge of Amazon deliveries. They would go to the airport, or they would go to the port station, they would pick up the packages, and they were in charge of dropping them off. What I need to know is, how is there such gaping holes within the logistics of Amazon to allow things like this to continue to happen? But apparently this duo of people stole nearly $1 million worth of goods, and they were taking it to a pawn shop up the street. And this pawn shop was supposedly in on what was going on. When they were asked about a statement for it, they said, nope, we deny any existence of it. We are just a regular pawn shop. But they didn't find it suspicious at all that somebody had brought in $90,000 worth of brand new sealed electronics and also happened to be an Amazon employee. You know, because here's the thing, guys, don't get me wrong. Have you ever done that? Have you ever bought something off somebody and said, I don't know, but okay, fine, I'll buy it. And you know that something might be a little bit fishy, and you kind of don't want to ask any more questions. I think most of us have been there at some point in time. I've been there at some point in time myself. Hello to you, Victoria. Thank you for making it in this evening. Hello to you, Lee, if I haven't said hi to you yet either. It's so great to see everyone in here tonight. We got like 50 people here. That's awesome. And here's another one, guys. And I know we talked at the beginning of the hour. We kind of talked about society. We talked about things like that. But there's this author of this article, and I kind of tore into him. I think he works for Washington Post. And I went over to his Twitter, and I dropped him a comment. But he wrote this sensationalist article regarding how the Ring cameras that are being made by Amazon. And they're essentially your doorbell camera. You hang it up by your door. You can use your smartphone to see who's there. It records footage. It saves it to a cloud-based DVR. And then it has a third-party app, or not a third-party, it has a first-party app where you can upload these videos, and other people in the neighborhood are going to be able to see the videos. And you can be able to notify if it's a crime, you can notify if it's something suspicious, and then other people are able to say, oh, you know what, I've had that same thing happen, here's my footage, let's put our footage together and let's see if we can get somebody to, get arrested by it. And this article, and I'm not even going to link it to it because this guy is not worth anyone's attention. And I'm not one to try and go after other people within media, but he's like, you can't trust the validity of this application because here's me taking a picture of a sandwich and I'm going to go ahead and report this as a crime. It's like, you've done nothing to help prove that situation. And then he said, the argument that he was making is that the police shouldn't have access to this footage, that it's an invasion of privacy, that a police officer can access the app and be able to see the footage that you voluntarily chose to place on the app to notify others of dangers in the area. He was attempting to argue that it was unlawful that police had access to that information that you put up because you didn't intend for the police to be able to have access to it. I'm tired of this, guys, okay? I understand you might have your own personal bias. You might have a single situation that's going to change things. But I'll tell you right now, if somebody kicks down your front door, you're not gonna sit there and say, I'm going to take a stand and not call the police. You're calling the police like everyone else, okay? Don't let society tell you that cops are bad, okay? Respect our people in blue. And I hate seeing stuff like that going around the internet. So if you happen to see that article and you want to speak up, I strongly recommend you do that. Last up in Amazon news, okay? You guys remember those little dash buttons? The little thing that you put on your, your fridge or your dryer, your washer, whatever, and you press the button, it might say Tide on it. You press the button and then poof, 3 days later or 2 days later, you get a bottle of Tide delivered to your house based on your specifications. They were giving these things out for free for a while, and a bunch of us made money selling these bad boys on eBay of all places because people had to go there to try and find them. $10 super chat from Cheesehead Treasures, the one and only. Maybe this one will show up on the ticker this time. He says, thanks. You're welcome, Cheesehead. Yeah, somebody's got to take a stand. And here's the thing. I so desperately want to make a second channel, but I'm worried some of you are going to find me. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what I'm going to do on that second channel. There's a bunch of stuff that I want to do. I was telling one of my friends I want to document my adventures in trying to find a partner and make some really, really cool vlogs, but we're going to see about that. Oh, and before I forget, guys, I forgot to mention this at the top of the hour. We're going to back up the show next week. This week it aired at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Okay? Next week, we're going to back it up either 1 or 2 hours. If you want to know when that's going to be, visit our Facebook page. You can vote for what time slot you would like to see. I know a lot of you are leaving the show about halfway through because it's getting so late on the East Coast. So we're going to be backing it up to be a little bit more accommodating for everyone else. So back on the dash buttons, and thank you again, Cheesehead. I truly appreciate that so much. But yeah, back on the dash buttons, we're in a situation right now where they're saying like, hey, these things just aren't going to be working anymore. Why is it not coming through to the total? I feel like I broke something somewhere. They're disabling them, guys. They're not going to work anymore. So if you have one, I guess try and sell it really, really quickly on eBay before anyone else realizes they're going to stop working as of August 31st. How close is that? You got 26 days to get those things sold and get them out of your hands. Basically, it didn't work. That's what they were saying. People, they just didn't gravitate to it. They're getting less usage and less impressions on it than they've had at any other point in time, and they've decided to close it down. Now, here's the thing. The technology is within those devices, and you can use third-party software to rewrite it and recode it to be able to have it continue to do the same thing, because it's basically something that connects to your Wi-Fi and sends a ping out with a character command to get the job done. So if you want to continue using it, and it's important to you to have that, you theoretically still can, okay? Yeah, it shows the second super chat, but not the first one. I had to restart the thing. You know what? I guarantee you, if you send in another $5, it'll show up. So that's the best I can do for you. And trust me, I tried to manually adjust the logs once. It will not let me do it. If I manually adjust it, it snaps right back right away. So there we go on that. So if you have your dash buttons, get them sold. Nobody else is going to warn you of that. I'm here to warn you of that, so that way you know. Guys, we're going to be switching over to a brand new screen right now. You guys have never seen this one before. Here we are. Guys, it's almost top of the hour. We're going to be talking about some SEO training. If you haven't done so yet, get a pen and paper. I strongly suggest it that you have one for this presentation. I will be doing my best to retell the presentation that I listened to at eBay Open. We're going to be starting with the eBay Cassini SEO, which is your search engine optimization and basically what you need to do to make sure that your listings become visible within eBay search. And then we're going to be talking the other half, the more important half, what you need to do to make your listing show up within Google Shopping. I can guarantee you, you are doing it wrong right now. Okay? You know why? Because me, the trainer, the guy in the power seat right now, has been doing it wrong for years as well. And I'm willing to admit that. I'm not perfect. I've never said I was, and I rarely do training on titles. Now, some of the stuff I have taught you about titles has been greatly accurate, but this is the stuff that you're going to need to know today. With everyone ready. Now, I do want to tell you, I have pages and pages of notes up here, and they are not always going to line up with the slides. I'm going to do my best to try and keep it consistent, but to be frank, I didn't want to spend another hour lining everything up. So the first session that I sat down for, we got to speak with eBay direct people in charge of working with the catalog as well as listing titles, SEO, and some of the communication with Google. Now, we learned from them that when they did heavy testing regarding item specifics, they saw an increase in velocity, an increase in sales. Now, we talked about the importance of this last week, and we said you must have your item specifics moving forward. Do not be lazy about item specifics. I understand you hit that drop-down menu and there's a bunch of stuff there right now, but I have to tell you, over the next month to 2 months, probably by the end of October, we're going to see a much, much cleaner experience for that. And you will want to use all the item specifics that they're asking you for. So the first square here, you see item specifics really matter. And they truly do. Better listing data will increase conversion, now. Okay, this isn't something that has been there historically, but what we're seeing is that now that the Google, the way that it fetches information from eBay has changed, you will need to change the way that you make your listings moving forward. Historically, eBay was able to take all of their listings and just kind of shove them across to Google, and Google would take them and index them, and they would find a place for them. And Google is saying, we're not really doing that anymore, because if your listing isn't a great listing, we really don't want it on our site. And you're probably thinking, you're like, well, it can't be that bad. How many listings don't make it through? 9 million listings haven't made it through right now, okay? Roughly 15% of what eBay is shoving across to Google is not showing up within Google, because Google is what we call disallowing it. And we're going to explain a little bit more about what that means here moving forward. Now, when we talk about adding these item specifics in, we're seeing a big emphasis on specific categories that have historically had a lot of item specifics in them. First one that always comes to mind is clothing. Okay, believe it or not, having the specifics of your items within the item specifics category is more important than having it within the title. Okay, now when we talk about title, there's going to be a big difference in the way that eBay perceives the title and the way that Google perceives the title. Okay, so if you haven't done so yet, I'd recommend drawing a fork on your paper and drawing a line down the middle so that you can understand the difference between the two, and put eBay at the top of one and put Google at the top of the other. So when it comes to title on eBay, eBay says the order does not matter. Okay, it doesn't matter to them. And on top of that, they're saying currently the specifics that you put in your title do not index as far as refinement on the sidebar. So when you look at the side on an eBay listing, or when you're doing within search, you'll see things such as size, color, cut, shape, and if you're looking at things like car parts, you might see things like model number, specific make, color, finish, stuff to that effect. So when it comes to putting those things in your title, it's not going to do you much favor opposed to placing them within the actual item specifics. And that's the problem that we've had historically with eBay, and why the site is so darn ugly. Because when you go look for something, the way that it's done is disgusting right now, and it's the way that we've been trained to do it. Black, wallet, men's, generic, unbranded, fold or bifold. You might even shove them both in there. Okay, you might put the word leather, pleather, and all these keywords after it. This has not done any favors for eBay, and it's actually really hurt things as far as value within Google as well. And after today's show, you're going to learn the correct way to do that. We're actually going to be showing actual examples of the way that the titles are supposed to be structured moving forward. On top of that, we've also learned that there has been a removal of the mandate to use catalogs. Before, when you had an item that was very, very similar to something within the catalog, eBay would say, whoa, this needs a catalog listing. And after the previous seller update, they've actually removed this mandate. You don't need to, but I'm going to stress this. If you have the opportunity to, you really should. Why? Because it gives your item all the key item specifics that Google is looking for. The things that Google wants are within that information. So if you have something, I don't know, I just need a damn example. If you have something like a very specific battery for a camera and it's branded, there's going to be a catalog listing for this. Use common sense, guys. So if it's something that's being sold at a store, something that has had mass market sell-through, it has a barcode, a UPC, a G10, an IMEI, if it has any of those things attached to it, then you're going to want to use the catalog when it's available, okay? This type of information over time is really going to help the site grow, because it's not one of those things where it's just a matter of you working on your store to try and make your listings look better. It's a matter of everyone banding together, making all of our listings look good, hard mandates onto those who don't, hard penalties onto those who don't, whether that be reduced velocity or less appearance within Google. But if we all work together and make eBay look better, guess what? More people are going to come here. More people are going to feel comfortable about spending their money. They're going to have an enhanced and improved experience, because whatever item they type in that they're looking for, they're simply going to be able to find, okay? So that's a big, big thing with it. On top of that, no longer can we edit the catalog. Before, there was a way to be able to submit appeals and to be able to edit the catalog, and they've simply removed that. Now, that's something that they're talking about bringing back in the future, with the possibility of having a bit of community support, which I think would be fantastic. Now, if you watched the update that I had done on the channel earlier, we talked about how item specifics are changing moving forward. eBay has decided, and they said, hey, we get it. A lot of this stuff doesn't matter. Okay? For most people, when they're buying something, they don't care the year that it was produced. In the sense that people aren't searching that. Let's say this right here. Let's take a look at this. This is an Elgato Stream Deck. And what this allows somebody to do, they can switch between scenes, just like what I'm doing here on the computer. I have a larger one of these now. Okay? If somebody's searching for this online, they don't care what year this was made. And eBay's realizing that. They're saying the average consumer does not care about certain item specifics. They're meaningless to them. So what we're going to do now is we're going to figure out which item specifics matter to people in which specific categories. So when we're talking about clothing, size, it's a huge factor. Color, huge factor. Brand, pretty important, okay? Country of manufacture, not very important, okay? And then maybe material might not be as important. And what they're doing is they're taking the highest priority things and they're going to be moving them up to the top. And those are the ones that you're going to need to worry about. And I recommend doing everything in your power to complete those. If you don't have access to a UPC, get the UPC. Contact the manufacturer, look for other listings, verify the UPC, and try and get it placed with your item. Because if I said I could give you the opportunity to sell your items 5 to 10 times faster, okay? And it would cost you 1 minute or 2 minutes of your time. You would be all over it. You'd say, yes, I would like to sell my item today. I'd like to sell it now. Instead of 6 weeks from now, I'd rather sell it in 1 week. Item specifics are how you're going to do that. Now, it's especially important if you're somebody who's selling quantity, or especially important if you have something that's maybe a little more difficult to find. Because if you have that really obscure item and that really unique one-off item, why aren't you going to make it easy for your consumer to find it? Okay. When it comes to something like this Stream Deck, yeah, there's hundreds of them online. I don't need to sit there and wave a flag and get people over, because people who are looking for Stream Decks are going to find mine if it's priced correctly. Shit, I might not even add item specifics for this, because I frankly don't think it needs it. I wouldn't even add the catalog. If I wasn't prompted for it, it's not going to need it. Okay. But if I have something incredibly unique, let's say this really creepy looking white bunny rabbit thing back here, okay, would it not benefit me to have the manufacturer, the type of material, the color, the animal type that it is, or character family that it is, and all these specifics that could help somebody who's maybe looking for something of that type to be able to find another option for purchase? Let's say we have a woman who's looking for a pair of gloves. She just doesn't know what type of gloves she wants, but she knows she wants them to be red. Okay. Now, if you haven't included the item-specific color red, and somebody types into search red gloves, okay, they're going to be presented with a bunch of options. But if they type in gloves as their default search, and here's the thing, red gloves, yours are going to show up. If they type in gloves and then click the checkbox on the side for color that says red, and you have not selected red as your item-specific, you're not going to show up. Goodbye. You're out of search now. It's no different than when somebody selects free shipping. If your listing has free shipping on it and they click the free shipping box, guess what? You're included. If you don't have free shipping, you're not included. And this is why item specifics are going to be so important moving forward. You want to be in eligible searches. So the lady doesn't know what style she's looking for or material on her glove. She knows she wants red, clicks it, boom, there it is. Well, what size are her hands? Did you select a size? Medium/large, maybe large, whatever it might be. She clicks that toggle box. Again, if you don't have it selected, you're out of search. You are ineligible to sell to that customer. So having more item specifics will get you exposed to potentially more customers. Now, eBay has done something, again, I must stress is fantastic, and they've let us know how many people are searching for these specific things within each and every category. So when you go to list those red gloves, it'll say 13,000 people used color as a determining factor last week to determine their glove purchase. And 40,000 people used size to determine it. And only 4,000 people used brand. Okay, so maybe you don't have a brand for it, but you'll see, you know what, brand isn't that important because most women who are buying women's gloves are more concerned about color and style or color and size opposed to brand. So eBay's gotten very smart and they've resorted the way that this information works now. And they're giving you the most important things at the top. And they're saying, okay, I want you to focus on these things and work your way down. Now, once you've completed all of these things at the top, there's going to be a lightning bolt. I don't know if I told you about this, but there's going to be a lightning bolt at the top. And as you fill those out, that lightning bolt symbol is going to fill up. It's going to complete the circle and you'll see it light up. Once you have that lightning bolt complete, you're telling eBay, and eBay's telling you, you have given us enough information. We have all the information we feel you are going to need to, one, not only appear really well within search and to be able to help people find your item, but two, you've given us all the necessary item specifics so that we can look at Google and say, hey, Google, boom, here's a gorgeous listing. Here's a listing that has everything we feel it needs. Now, we talked about conversion. We're talking about that 1 to 2 extra minutes per listing, which I know can add up over time. But as the catalog gets better, it's going to be worth it. And here's the thing. Frankly, if I'm listing 100 items over the course of a week, and it takes me an extra, let's say 2 minutes per listing, 200 minutes, okay? It's going to take me an extra 3 hours or so to get my job done, but all of my items are going to sell faster because of it. What's that 3 hours to me? It means nothing. Because if we look at it on the long-term sense, we can say, because these items are selling quicker, guess what? I have more space in my inventory area now. And if I have more space and I have more money in hand, that means I can go buy more and I can buy quicker. And I know some of you are working on very, very confined spaces right now. So when we're talking about increasing this velocity, it's not just a matter of getting the cash in hand. It's a matter of what can you do with that cash to improve your business. Okay? So it's very, very powerful getting this done. Let me look at some of these comments. Been watching the whole time. I really love the new listing layout. Cool. I love it too for some items. A lot of my vintage won't fit, but there's no UPCs. And here's the other thing too. eBay has said, we get it. We get it. Due to the nature of our platform, not all items are going to have UPCs available. Now, that's going to change in time, of course. There's always going to be an antique and always going to be a vintage market. But every day that we progress, there's more UPCs coming out and less items that are going to be getting sold online that don't have them. But for the time being, they say, hey, we get it. That's just kind of how it is right now. Okay, the guy that was giving this presentation, I said this before, but he's been working for Amazon for 17 years before coming across and working for eBay for another 5. And the entire time, His entire e-commerce career has been circled around catalog creation and listing optimization for SEO search. So the advice that's coming from this guy is exceptionally valuable advice. This is the type of person that I would pay good money to sit down and have lunch with just so that I could pick his brain. And that's another thing that I'm going to be doing at eBay Open next year is I'm going to spend more time talking with eBay employees and getting valuable answers to questions that you guys have, opposed to going to some of these panels that might not carry much value. Yeah, Lee, it was a great workshop. I'm trying to cover a lot of the key points. Now, somebody had asked a question regarding jeans and clothing, and they said, hey, if I'm listing an item that was originally size 32, let's say a pair of pants, I'm listing size 32 pants, but now I've gone and remeasured them, and they're actually size 34, okay? But I want to follow eBay's listing guidelines. What should I do? Okay, you know, based on the catalog and stuff like that. Best judgment is what they said. Okay, so you're going to want to list it based against the catalog, but you're going to want to put information in that can explain to people, whether it be under item condition, you know, when you select acceptable or good, you can include it right there. You also want to include it in your title, and you also want to include it in your body, and that's just basically so that your own self is covered. But I must stress this, guys, moving forward, stop cramming information in the title. It's actually going to hurt you. And we're going to talk about title structure here when we move into our Google presentation here in just one moment. On top of that, somebody had also asked regarding API functionality. If you're somebody using Activia, I can't remember what it's called, or some other type of third-party listing tool, as soon as these changes become available on the eBay platform, they will also become available on third-party platforms as well. Mindy, have a wonderful evening, and make sure you come back tomorrow and check out the rest of the presentation. Hopefully next week you'll be able to watch the entire show with us. So that's everything with Google. That's everything with eBay. Does anyone have any questions regarding that before we move on to our Google presentation? It's a whole lot of talking, guys. So as you can see from that last square down there, it's all about making the experience a little more convenient for the consumer. They want to make sure that it's a smooth and easy process for them moving forward. So guys, let's go to move into the Google presentation. You'll notice that there's a little microphone down there at the bottom on some of the slides. And again, I don't know if you saw before the top of the hour, these slides were really messed up. They were really disproportionate because I wasn't thinking with where I sat. That's another thing that I learned from last year, so I'm going to be redoing it. But when we talk about Google, guys, these three wonderful people, Greg Williams, Michael Wong, and Mike Kinney, were the ones who are presenting there. Two of them are specialists, senior account executive and shopping technical specialist from Google, and the other one was a senior manager, paid search marketing, paid search marketing over at eBay. And what does that mean? That means that when eBay has our listings, all of our listings, our collective listings, they don't just send them over to Google Raw. Sometimes they do. But most times they send them over with a little bit of money. They're paying money on our listings to give us better placement within search. So if you've ever wondered about your fees and you're like, God, where do all my fees go? Well, a fraction of your fees go to pay for Google placement within Google Shopping. So when we think about Google Shopping, some of you guys don't know what that is, so I'll explain. It's when you type something into Google and you're actually looking to make a purchase, or the way that it's phrased would indicate that you're looking to buy something. So if you put buy DeWalt power drill, not only are you going to sometimes be directed straight across to the tab at the top that says shopping, but you're also going to see a little bit of a carousel at the bottom. We're going to take a look at that here in 1 second. So that's basically what Google Shopping is. And it says how eBay leverages Google Shopping to connect sellers to buyers. And like I say, when they push these listings across from eBay, they're spending a little bit of money to ensure that they rank out higher than other competitive selling sites. So we're talking things like Mercari, we're talking things like Amazon, but a lot of companies do this. Prairie Grit does this as well. They'll put a little bit of money behind the listings and then push them out to Google, and they rank really, really well. It's not because we call it a bid or the amount spent per listing to place them there, but it ranks really well based on the item's listing value. So you have an item with really good images and really good product descriptions and product identifiers, it's going to rank much, much better within search. And that's an important thing to note. The amount of money thrown behind it is very, very minuscule in the grand scheme of things because Google wants the most valuable listings at the top. And what makes a valuable listing? A relevant listing. The quicker that Google can connect the consumer with the item that they want, the faster they can get paid. Okay, and we're talking ad revenue. We're talking, it could be the value behind the click-through. Thank you, Riken, for that. And those of you who don't know, Riken Profit here in the chat, he's an absolute savage. Make sure you go check his channel out. We have a video. He's telling me it's coming out tomorrow. Okay, I might hold him to that. Okay, it might be coming out tomorrow. Me and him did a very special interview, and I'm personally excited to see it because I haven't even seen it yet. It's dropping tomorrow 100%. So if you want to see a very, very exclusive piece, and I don't know if there's many pieces of me talking with other big name creators, but yeah, definitely subscribe to his channel so you can see that tomorrow. Top 10 myths on eBay, baby. That's right. Yes, and he's encouraging everyone to smash the like button. I had to pause this presentation. It's always a pleasure when Steve drops in. So thank you so much for coming by, Steve. We're talking about Google and the power of SEO and the changes happening to the platform. So if you'd like to stick around, we'll be happy to have you. So the key part that you play as a seller, okay? It's your job as sellers as a whole to improve the platform on eBay and make your listings look good so that way you can get the conversion that you actually want to get. So when we talk about e-commerce growth and we look at the value of the platform over time, because we've heard so many people talking about how retail is truly suffering with the growth of e-com. And we've seen it in so many capacities, whether it be, Toys R Us or Payless, or other well-established brands simply not transforming fast enough to be able to keep up with juggernauts like Amazon and eBay, which are really starting to pull in some of those dollars that had traditionally gone to their stores. So we've seen a 13 to 14% increase year over year for total retail sales. And they said by 2023 that we're going to be looking at close to $1 trillion worth of total retail sales in a single year. And if you guys don't realize how big of a number that is, it's absolutely massive. The fact that much e-com is going to be happening in a single year. And I know a lot of us are trying to get our hand on as much money of that as possible. So I wanted to talk briefly about what shoppers are seeing. So I'm going to show you this example right here. Now, when you're typing in, and I said earlier, the example, buy a DeWalt drill, you're going to see this thing across the middle here. We call this the carousel. And this carousel is going to feature a handful of items that Google believes are the items that you want with your search. Again, the quicker they can convert you to a buyer on that item, not only can they more quickly get paid, but it's less of a strain on their servers to be able to quickly get people to what they're looking for. They save money on both ends. Now, this carousel here, your eBay listings can very easily get placed within those carousels, but if you are missing item specifics on your listing, I guarantee you cannot show up there. Google would rather display a listing that's close than one that's wrong, okay? Now, the value of this carousel to most people is largely lost, but did you know that very first slot, the one all the way on the left, that item has 3 times higher odds of selling over any other item on the page, okay? It has the highest conversion rate comparative to any other, and yours can land in that top slot if you're creating your listings correctly. Not only are we talking item specifics, we're talking photos and titles, and we're going to be covering the specifics on that here as well. Now, they've also got these sidebars that come up as well when you hover on an item or you click through on an item. That's going to give you more details about that. If you have those details available and they're indexed correctly, it's going to show those to the customers and in turn can increase your conversion. Now, the reason why we want to talk about the mobile experience too is because the mobile experience is uniquely different than the desktop experience. The desktop experience, what you're going to have is you're going to have a situation where I believe up to 180 characters are going to show below your item. Now, on the mobile experience, I think it's a little bit closer to 80 characters. So having a high-value title that's organized correctly and then placed correctly within search is going to increase that actual sell-through. So that's something to think about moving forward as well. So you can see here again the difference, okay, google.com/shopping, whether it be PC or on a tablet. And then they are doing some big changes to the Google Shopping experience. As of right now, when you click on Google Shopping, it looks very, very similar to the eBay experience. You have your bulk of items, top to bottom, and then on the left, the sidebar, you have all of your refinements. Again, similar refinements to what you see on eBay. And eBay is actually pushing that information across. So if a specific type of item, let's say a dress, has these item specifics, the buyer is going to be able to click those refinements on the side. And just like with eBay, as we said before, if your item is missing those specifics, okay, just like with eBay, same thing with Google, guess what? Your item will get removed from search when somebody toggles one of the boxes if you haven't taken the time to add those specifics. I spent all of last week adding item specifics to my items, and my sales are doing fantastic right now. I can't stress the importance of doing this, guys, and you're going to hear me saying this till the end of time. There's two things that you need to walk away with, okay, from this entire presentation. One, add item specifics. Two, stop adding garbage to your titles. Okay, and what we're talking about when we talk about garbage, we're talking about symbols, and we're going to explain that here in a bit. We're talking about words like rare, vintage, NOS. Stop adding garbage to your titles, and we'll explain how you want to structure your titles moving forward to increase your sell-through, because it is all about rank. Those of you who don't know, 40% of my sales come through Google, directly through Google, convert across to the site, and then end up buying the item. And there's a reason why my items rank well, and it's because, again, really, really clean photographs, clean titles, clean item specifics too. Let me take a look at my notes here, guys, really quick. So yeah, with this new redesign, it's going to be tailored and based on the history of the specific consumer. Now, we've talked about AI and machine learning and how it's really advancing technology, but we're going to be seeing things. Not only is it, again, about converting an item quicker, but we're going to see things like being able to redirect people back to sites or back to people where they've had positive experiences before. We're going to see brand new logo, brand new design. We're going to see a price comparison grid. It's going to be very, very similar in nature to how you do your shopping for like airfare and tickets on Google Airlines or the Google site. You're going to see this type of price charting to make it a little bit easier for people to convert. We're going to see merchandising. We're going to see a new homepage, which is going to be reordered, and it's going to have recommendations based on history, returns, tracking, etc. Okay, post-order stuff as well. So there's a lot of great changes that are coming to the Google Shopping, which essentially it's like a free upgrade for you to be able to get people to be able to buy more stuff from you. As of right now, those of you who don't know, they process somewhere in the area of 750 million listings from eBay on a week-by-week basis, which is a ton of data. It is a disgusting amount of data. But of those listings, 15% of them, 9 million of them, are rejected, where eBay sends the information across, Google looks at the listing and says, we don't want it. No thank you. And for the first time ever, we're going to talk about what causes a listing to get accepted and what causes a listing to get rejected. And these are things that I have desperately wanted to know for a long time, because we talk about search and we say, what can we do to improve our search? What can we do to actually boost our listings relevancy? So we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts. Okay. First one, the first don't. Do not add text to your image of any variety. Okay. Don't be cute and add stuff in post-production. Okay. If you're one of those people that feels that you need to brand your image, okay, it's only going to hurt you. Let me get through here really quick. Here we're gonna leave it on this one for a moment, okay? And I'm gonna cover all these do's and don'ts, and then we'll shuffle through some of the slides. Do not add text to your image of any variety, okay? Whether that be stuff regarding the item itself. You could say, you're going to get 6 of these, 6X, and you add that to your image. If you add your company's brand, if you add a watermark to your image, if you add just specifics, if you could say includes free shipping, if you have a thing laying down in front that says, case only or disc only or some type of thing to try and cover your own butt from an eBay appeal, don't do that, okay? That's going to get your listing disallowed. Now, Google does have the technology to be able to erase some of the text from images, but for the most part, they're just not going to care. If it's a difficult one to remove, they're not going to do it, okay? Higher res images truly do help. They said at least a 500 by 500 pixel image, which most of us are taking, and they actually gave us a recommendation as far as guidelines. They said an 800 by 800 square pixel photo is going to help. Now, I've gone ahead and taken it upon myself to do a little bit of experimenting, okay? I took 300 photos the other day for listings that I'm going to be running within a high velocity category. 150 of those photos I took square, 150 of those photos I took portrait mode on different items. I will be listing all of those over the next week, and I will come back to you within 30 days with the results to see if there was any applicable difference between square photos and horizontal photos. And I'll be frank with you. I don't think 300 photos is a large enough sample size. I will continue to test this further just because I don't want to give anyone any faulty information. Okay, so that's the important thing. And now we're going to talk about backgrounds as well. Now, I know people were very excited about the new tech that was coming for eBay to be able to remove backgrounds, and Google essentially hearkened that as well. And they said, we want clear backgrounds or white backgrounds. That's what we're looking for. If you do an image search for products right now, that's pretty much all you're going to see. Go find me an image that has a black background. It'll be surrounded by a sea of photos with white backgrounds. So make sure you start shooting on white. If you haven't done so, you can get an entire photo set up for about $60 to $80. And I know for some people that is a large investment into your business, but we're talking about increased velocity. You can do it budget. You can get a tablecloth and a clip-on lamp from the hardware store, and you can get the job done for $15 until you scale up to a point where you can comfortably afford $80 to invest into your business. It is a very, very important thing to get done. So again, no watermarks. And then here's another thing that they said too, and this might be relevant for a handful of you. I'm talking to people like Riken, Roger with KeyWeb Co., and a handful of other people. Avoid, and they didn't say don't do it. They said avoid stock and generic images. Okay, and this is very, very specific with eBay as well. If you're using the catalog image, okay, you're already performing a no-no. You're going to hurt your account. Your sales are going to be lower as well. There are certain times where I know people will do it. They will do that with books and stuff to that effect where they don't really care. It might be a $6 book or something. But stay away from stock and generic images. They have confirmed that they do rank lower than the actual item. Okay? And the other thing too is we're going to be covering things to avoid within your titles as well. Now, do you guys have any questions regarding any of those stuff? Looking forward to photo beta email. Renee, you were at eBay Open. Call in, speak with concierge, and they can pair you up to be able to get the iOS beta download. You can give it a go. There's no guarantees, but I've heard of people who went to eBay being able to do that because a lot of us were just simply too busy to stop by and get ourselves set up with that. Any questions, guys? 43 of you here. Go ahead and smack that like button for me if you haven't yet. Okay, guys, so moving forward, we're going to talk about titles. Okay, a lot of you are doing titles wrong. I've been doing titles wrong too, and you go to my eBay store, you're going to find a bunch of titles that are wrong. Okay, I promise you that. I got a lot of cleaning up to do. I learned a whole lot of things recently. Stop adding stuff that's temporary to your title. On sale now. Okay, so don't put that in there. Free shipping. Don't put that in your title, okay? Because it's an irrelevant fact. You have to ask yourself, how important is this detail to Google, okay, when it comes to indexing your listing? Are they going to index your listing higher because it has free shipping? No, they don't care, okay? That's not one of the metrics that they're looking for. They're looking for clean and concise titles, and you're cluttering your title up by doing that, okay? So don't add things like free shipping. Don't add things like on sale now. Another thing, block capitals. Block capitals means a series of uppercase letters, okay, to be able to try and give your item more prominence. It looks really, really ugly in search. Don't add block capitals. Now, if you haven't noticed, eBay likes to capitalize the first letter in each word. Why? Because it looks pretty, okay? It looks good. So that's okay, but having a series of capital letters without purpose, okay? If it's an abbreviation, Google knows that's an abbreviation. For like a brand, for instance, MFG brand or REI and stuff to that effect. They understand the value of the abbreviation. They're going to use it, okay? But don't just string capitals together because you want to, okay? Don't add your company or brand info. If you're somebody who has a private company or a private label, a private label is one thing. But if you want to use your own company name, I know it's Sunny Deals, don't put Sunny Deals in your title, okay? Because that doesn't help search, okay? Even if people are searching specifically for your store, okay, you want to direct people to your website. You don't want to direct people to your listing, okay? So making sure that people are getting to the right way to where they need to get to, okay? Don't add associative product info, Okay. If you're not selling a specific item, don't talk about that item. Okay. And we're talking, it's kind of hard to explain, but if you have like, I guess collar stays would be a good example. You know, you wouldn't want to have that show up if somebody's looking for a blue Ralph Lauren polo because you've jammed in extra keywords into your title. Google is smart, okay? They know when people stuff in a bunch of different keywords for non-associative things and they derank the listing, and they might even disallow it altogether. Because like I said, 15% of listings are getting disallowed right now. Let me see what we got here. Okay, product don'ts, okay? Generic photos. Yep. Let me see what else we got here. This shows right here how they are able to remove logos. You can see that they had the Nissan logo there at the top, but they were able to get that removed. Product identifiers. Yeah, and we're going to get to titles here in just 1 second. So I did a little bit of extra research behind the scenes to be able to try and get more information. Don't add links to other stores or brands within your titles. Believe it or not, people will do that. They'll add bit.ly links knowing that their listings are going to show up within Google search. Okay. Do not reference your own catalog or organizational system. This is a huge no-no. Okay. Do not put stuff in your title. And I know some of you do this right now. That'll say like shelf B, or it'll say like B1 R3, okay? And it'll reference shelf B row 3 within your inventory warehouse. Do not do this, okay? It deranks your listing within Google because it's information that the consumer does not want. Do not include your personal item number for your own inventory management system, whatever you use within your spreadsheet. Do not include that in the title either. That will hurt your listing too. Okay, so avoid doing that like the plague. Avoid keyword synonyms. Okay, so you guys know what I'm talking about, right? A string of words that kind of mean the same thing. Especially like, I don't know, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Coffee, cup, mug, I don't know what, mug, cup, what else would you call this? Drink, synonym type words in series to try and capture more search. Because Google will say, you clearly don't know what you have. We don't know what you have. So we're not going to serve it up to the person who knows specifically what they're looking for. Okay. Nice. Okay, let me see what else we got here. Punchy titles is another thing that they mentioned, or they didn't mention, another thing that I researched as well. Punchy titles can be really good for eBay, okay, having a title that can really grab somebody's attention, but it's really considered a bad thing within Google. Google just wants to see a very, very clean listing. Don't use the same word twice within your title either. This is one that I hadn't really thought of, but using the same word more than one time, creating that level of redundancy, again, creates a listing that seems unsure, okay? Concise titles can be more appealing, but longer won't necessarily de-rank you. However, you want to make sure that the longer title is one of substance. I can have a title that's half as long as yours, but will rank better than yours if your longer title does not carry more value within it. Okay, it must carry more value or it will rank lower. An enticing title can be more important than the order of the title at times. And we're going to talk about title order here as well. And then one of the big things, guys, stop using symbols, okay, in your titles. Now, there's acceptable symbols when we're talking about abbreviations, things that have hyphens, model numbers that have hyphens, brands that have exclamation marks in them. Stuff to that effect is fine, okay? But doing like look, where somebody goes, I'm using the wrong keyboard, where somebody goes like this, and they put the word look, L ampersand, at symbol K, and they do something like that within their title, or they do the something like this, and they put unnecessary tilias in their listing to try and fill the gap, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Okay, it's really, really going to hurt your rank within Google. It's going to hurt your rank within eBay as well. Do not use symbols that are not necessary for your title. you're going to hurt your sales. Okay. Sorry, give me 1 second. I am bouncing all over the place over here. When I clicked off screen, I kind of lost my place a little bit. So we're going to talk about title optimizations, okay? They say front load product titles with the most important attributes not visible in the image. Now, when they talk to us about image, they made it very clear that they want a clean image, white background, and a simple image at that as well. You don't want to complicate your image. You want your image to contain simply the item. We're going to talk about that here in a second. Robin's saying, so you're saying I shouldn't put top, blouse, shirt all in my title. No, you shouldn't. If it's a blouse, it's a blouse. And it should be left that way. And because the thing is, I don't necessarily, Google does know synonyms, yes, but I can tell you right now that you're going to hurt yourself by jamming in those extra synonyms, because you want to search the way that the consumer is actually searching. Okay. If a woman is looking for a blouse, she doesn't want a shirt. You know, if a woman wants a top, what type of top does she want? She wants a blouse. Okay. So, I would put, and we're gonna show you an example of clothing here in a second. Me personally, before I even get to the next slide, I would do brand, type of article of clothing, gender of the clothing, and then clothing specifics that might not be visible within the image, or clothing specifics that might be specific for what a customer may be looking for. But I would never expect a woman to go to eBay and type in top blouse, shirt, blue, Juicy Couture. You know, we want to talk about the way that the consumer actually is utilizing the site, and how we can best interact with them to help our sell-through. So we want to have the most important attributes not visible within the image. And it also says, be sure titles are easily readable and in logical order for the buyers to be able to consume them. Okay, you don't want to have a complex title. And we've seen a lot of this, especially with Japanese sellers, where they will jam in a disgusting amount of details and a disgusting amount of synonyms. And what you'll see is sometimes their items will rank really well, and you'll be like, wow, this is a horrible title. This is a lackluster photo. It might be a really tiny photo. And you're saying, why is this item doing so good? And then you look around, you're like, well, oh, okay, that's why. Everyone's using a horrible title, and everyone's photos are horrible. So they just had to pick one. Okay, maybe this person's paying from promoted listings, and it just happened to land at the top of search. It's going to happen that way sometimes. Lisa says, I judge Google search on part-time basis, saying whether a word changes the intent of a search. I have no clue what you mean, but I'm very curious about that. It says include important attributes and titles such as strong brand name, age group, gender, size, color, type, etc. And let's go and take a look at our next slide here. Now, this is an important one. Okay, if you're on a computer, screen cap this. If you're a patron, you'll have this available to you after the show. Title optimization. This is best category, best practice. Okay, let me read Pat here. I don't know how to have white background on a PC of equipment that is spread over 3 pallets. That's not going to be for you, Pat. There's certain things that if you're selling an assortment of items, bushels of items, there's no way that you're going to logically take your photo like that. But the thing is, your competitors aren't taking their photos like that either. So when we think about selling an automobile, when we think about selling like, a rusted out, 70s Datsun or something, nobody's getting behind it with a giant white sheet to take their photo. So you're not going to have to worry about that when it comes to rank. But when we're talking about general merchandise and stuff that the average consumer is going to go online and buy, those clean white backgrounds are really going to help within search. When we're talking about things that have, hundreds, if not thousands of competitors within the same exact space. Because this isn't necessarily about having the absolute best and most robust listing online and, ensuring your sale. This is about making sure that you have an exceptionally competitive listing against your competitors online, okay, to make sure that it looks really good. And you can actually check that, Hillbilly. There's a way to get into your statistics on the back end. I can't remember how I got to it. Somebody asked me the other day, but I'll do some research and I'll be able to find it. I remember I used to get these emails that were sent out to me, and it would have those types of statistics in it. And I'll see if I can dig it up and figure out how, or contact Concierge and see what they say. So yeah, when we're looking at this chart here, this is very, very important stuff. When we're talking about things like apparel, they say start with a strong brand name, the key brand name for the item. Okay, so let's just go with Prada. Okay. For apparel, we got Prada, and then you want to follow up with gender. So it'd be Prada, woman's. What's next? The actual product itself, or the product type. Okay. So it could be dress, and then attributes. Okay. So Prada, woman's, dress, evening gown, or no, that would be, your product type. Evening gown, red, sequined. Okay. And making it, and here's an example. Ann Taylor, women's sweater, black, size 6. Okay. So being able to get those specifics in there. And notice, there's so much space left over within that title example. But really ask yourself, what more information does the consumer need at that point? What would you put there that you personally believe that would convert to a click for you, to somebody actually clicking through and seeing your item? Okay. And then we also have to realize too, this title done correctly, okay, where it's nice and compact, we can guarantee you with 100% certainty, if you add more junk after that, okay, you will rank below that one. Okay, so what's more important? I always ask people this. What's more important? Showing more words to the consumer, okay, the idea of possibly enticing them to click your listing, or ranking up higher and being able to make sure that you're the first listing that somebody sees. We can unequivocally prove that higher ranked items have a faster sell-through. We look at Etsy for that example, and we can see that page 1 listings have 3 times higher sell-through than page 2 listings. Okay, so getting that optimized rank is a big deal when we talk about converting more sales. When we look at consumables, brand plus product type plus attributes. So for this example, they use Twin Lab Mega CoQ10, 50 milligrams, 60 caps. Okay, and they use commas to separate that information out. Commas are going to be fine, especially when segmenting stuff. It's nothing that's going to strike against you as far as rank is concerned. Look at some of these comments here. Renee Mason says, when I started selling, I read to always use all characters on your title. Now they are saying don't. And well, here's the thing, okay? I'm not sure where you read that. And I've kind of had issue with that statement for a long time. And I'm going to tell you moving forward, and I'm not trying to throw people under the bus here, but any single trainer or personality out there that tells you to use all of your characters is factually wrong moving forward, okay? And it's very important that we all stay up to date on this information because, yes, times are changing. And okay, Renee's saying just other sellers in general. And that's the thing. That's what this whole thing is about. If you haven't seen my Reseller Myths video, I strongly recommend checking it out. We have a thing tomorrow, Rakin's channel. Definitely go check that out. We touch base on a bunch of them. It's gonna have some info probably on how to get to that other video as well. But if you're getting bad information out there from other people, you just be very careful because it will cost you money. So concise titles, guys. Hard goods, brand plus product plus attributes, which would be the front gate wicker patio chair set brown 4-piece as the example. And you notice how they used the hyphen in there for 4-piece, and that's okay because that's the way that it's meant to be read. For electronics, brand, attribute, product type. And here's a good one, seasonal. Okay, you would start with occasion first, then product type, then attribute. So it says holiday personalized storage box silver, and they use holiday as a catch-all, but it might be like Halloween, front door banner, and then 8 foot. Okay. And yes, don't use the word vintage unless you're listing something where vintage is a common used search word. So if I want to buy a set of horseshoes, I want to play horseshoes out front, but I don't want the new set of horseshoes. I want a vintage set of horseshoes. Okay. People would actually search vintage, and that would be it wouldn't be an occasion, it would be I guess a character specific of that type of item. So I would use the word vintage in that. Vintage, horseshoes, lucky brand, or anything to that effect, lucky full set, or a great paint, things that people might be looking for specific to that item. But I wouldn't put rare and, look and just other stuff like that. But that's a fantastic question. So use it when applicable. Use it when it's something that other people use to find the item. Okay. Yeah, that's the best I can say on that. And you say you sell mostly vintage stuff. So if people aren't traditionally searching with the word vintage to find your items, don't use it on your listings. Okay. So, but if you're selling like vintage jeans and that's something that people commonly search, go for it by all means. But if your item is only vintage, you have something that came out in 1965, never released again, that's just the period of the item, I probably wouldn't put vintage in the title because people already know how old it is if they're the ones going and looking for it. But if, let's say, we have like Rainbow Bright items, you know, there was a long, or what's something that was sold then and sold now? Let's say Sesame Street, for instance. Okay, you can still go out and you can buy a brand new Sesame Street toy, but somebody might want the vintage version of it. You know, I don't know. That's what I can come up with for you as of right now. And then another example that was given during the show is, let's say you have a valuable book. Okay, and concert tees. That's a great example, Lisa. Let's say you have a valuable book, and the book might be worth $40, but guess what? Yours is signed. Okay. If you want to be able to convert that person across, having the keyword signed at the beginning of your listing is going to make a lot more sense than having it at the end of it because of how they show up on mobile, how they show up on desktop. So you would want to start with signed, maybe the author, if not the book title, you know, Michael Crichton, Jurassic Park, or signed Jurassic Park, Michael Crichton, just however it flows best when you visually look at it. You want your listing to look good starting from the title down. Okay. But yeah, great questions. And then they also said this, hey, sweeten the offer a little bit for us. Okay. Things like free shipping, things like guaranteed delivery, return policy that drives confidence, eBay for charity, and avoid disclaimers. Guys, you know, I believe this was in context with the body. I put disclaimers in all of my listings. I'm sorry, I'm not going to remove them. Okay. That's just how it is. My disclaimers are important to me, but I may condense my disclaimer down. I may convert my disclaimer to an image within my body so that way it doesn't show up the same way within Google search. And if you guys want, we'll talk about how to go about doing that. We're referring to autofills, so stuff like pet-free, smoke-free home will accommodate international orders, stuff to that effect. What else do we got? So yeah, it's all about that visibility. So here, I'm going to switch back over to my main screen here. Oh, we got music playing again. Fancy, fancy. Do I have my main screen? There we go. So that was all the information, I believe, that I got from them. And we're also hoping that here in the future, we're going to get some more information about what causes a listing not only to be disapproved, because if you're doing the things that you're not supposed to do, your listing's going to get disapproved. But we're hoping to get some clarity from eBay regarding what has caused a listing to get disapproved and what we need to change to be able to get that listing pushed through to Google. Guys, that's everything regarding the presentation that I had. Opening for questions right now if you guys have any. I really do hope that you gathered some valuable information. This will conclude all of the information that I have from eBay Open 2019 this year. So if you're hoping for more info, I couldn't get it. Okay, I just didn't have the time, and I truly wanted to, simply didn't have the time. While we're here, and you guys are thinking if you have any more questions, I'm going to give you an opportunity to hear me talk about Patreon one more time. Patreon is your way to be able to help support this show, keep us on air, and fun trips like me going to eBay Open for as little as 75 cents a day. You can help us stay on air and create fantastic improvements to our set. Maybe we'll get a new background or something. I don't know. Maybe we'll get real music for the first time ever. No way to know. But with your help, that would mean an absolute ton. I'm going to go and include the link in the comments right now. Give it a shot, guys. Give it a go. Not only are you going to get one-on-one support from me, you'll get access to our 24/7 group chat. You'll get access to a second private page, which I posted a video that I guarantee you can increase your revenue by at least $500 to $1,000 a month. And I am not kidding. Miguel Gondinez watched that video and said it was excellent. Okay, and he's an authority on my videos, so definitely go check that out. It was a really, really great video, and you're probably thinking like, Jay, why didn't you release it public? I'll be frank with you. It's far too valuable, okay? I don't want everyone knowing exactly what I'm doing because I don't want to destroy my own market, but it's something that you can do, and you can add $1,000 a month. I said in the video a week because I can do $1,000 a week doing this, especially if I wasn't doing this. But you can add $1,000 a month minimum to your revenue just by watching this video and learning the things that I taught in the video. Future Fortune says, do you have to always offer return shipping? Technically, no. I don't offer returns on any of my listings at all, period. I just don't think it's necessary. If somebody has an issue with an item, then they can let me know they have an issue, and then I'll take it up with them in eBay. But I'm not in a position where I feel I need to offer returns on my items. And simply put, I don't want to be that guy, but if you don't like my return policy, don't buy from me. And that's just kind of my stance on it. If you want to buy from somebody that has a different return policy and you want to pay a few bucks more to be able to get that premium, I encourage you to do so. But the way I run my business, unless it's my fault, I don't want your item back. You are a grown adult who purchased this item full well knowing exactly what it is. Why, for any reason, should I consider taking it back after I've already done the work of getting the item out the door? I can't see a reason for it. But yeah, make sure you like this video too, guys. Definitely helps us out. And if you haven't done so yet, take a moment, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We definitely need a few more subscribers. We're like this close to breaking 1,500 subs. And I guarantee you, if that Riken video comes out tomorrow, we're going to break 1,500 subs. And we're going to have a bunch of brand new faces coming in to say hello to us. It's going to be a great, great time. I look forward to meeting so many new people. Let me see if there's any more questions. So what do you think is the most important, eBay SEO or Google SEO? 100% I believe it's Google SEO. And what's really great about the training is that if you follow Google's guidelines regarding SEO, you're going to rank better within eBay as well. And that's why I felt it was interesting that we saw a little bit of a different discussion from eBay as well as Google. I'm very fortunate that I had the ability to go to both of these panels. And, I did also leave with some contact information as well. So if need be, I can email some of these people and I can follow up with them. And if you have hard questions that I simply can't answer, but I would say strongly, I would recommend following Google's SEO recommendations, because the whole reason Google was there is because the algorithm did change. And Google needed to make a presence to be able to explain to people what's changed and what they need to do. And they didn't want to make a big kerfuffle over it, because some people have tens of thousands of listings and it's going to be a big deal getting some of them fixed to make sure that they actually show up. But yeah, and with Patreon, you also can get these wonderful thank you cards. You get free, what do you call it? You get a free subscription to Prairie Grid as well. We got tons of perks, tons of bonuses. So go check the dang thing out, guys. We're gonna start winding down right now. Last week we talked about not being afraid of things just because they were hard, and the importance of overcoming your anxiety so that way you can get things accomplished that you might not have thought you were going to be able to do. So much talking, guys. This week we're going to talk about what it means to be a good person, okay? And not doing things because you feel you have to, but rather doing things because you feel you should. And I didn't realize that this was something that some people struggled with. And maybe you actually struggle with it too when you don't realize it. But I actually met somebody new. I've been spending a couple of weeks with her, and a wonderful, wonderful person. And she seems to be struggling with this concept because all she's ever seen around her is people who also struggle with this concept. We're talking about inherently selfish people, or people who only do good things for other people because they expect something in return. I'll tell you right now that if I only did this show because I expected financial compensation, then I would be bankrupt. Simple as that. It just simply would not happen. A majority of the reason why I do this show is so that I can offer a service to the community and be able to help as many people as possible. And sometimes when I talk with people about this and this idea and this notion that I want to live a very selfless life, they don't really seem to understand the concept. Like, they can hear the words I'm saying, but it doesn't actually go all the way back. It doesn't actually sink into them. And they still have this belief in their mind that there's ulterior motive to what I'm doing. And don't get me wrong, I'd love to be able to do this for a living, but I understand that that might not be in the stars for me, and that's okay. But I'm going to continue to do this because some of you get true value from this, and I'm able to increase your sales. And I do wholeheartedly believe that as long as I continue to be a selfless and good person and impact positively the lives of those around me, that good things will happen to me. And I don't mean that in the spiritual sense, but I just think being a good person is important, okay? And just doing it just to do it. And like I said, it's a wild and radical concept for some of you, which I understand. Because when you're constantly surrounded by people who do things with the expectation of reward or the expectation of compensation or the expectation of a clean one-to-one. I'll do this for you if you do that for me. But I tell you, there's a lot of value in just doing things for the sake of doing them. This week has been an interesting week. The YouTube community lost somebody very, very, very important. His name was Grant Thompson. He had a channel with 11 million subscribers, and he spent his time, and don't get me wrong, he had a wildly successful career here on YouTube, but he spent his time doing things that he loved and sharing joy to other people. And predominantly, he made great videos for kids. He would do these really cool science experiments, and you could tell that he loved what he was doing. He unfortunately passed away. I believe he was 49 years old. Left two beautiful kids and a wife behind. He died in a paragliding accident. It was horribly unfortunate. And one of the things that he had, wished for, and one of the things that was echoed by his wife when he passed, is to go and do something amazing for somebody. His last thing that he wanted people to know was to just go and be a good person. And when you meet certain people, you can tell they exude that energy and that true level of selflessness. They're just existing and they're making their pass through life. So I want to share that same thought with you. And I'm going to say, please go do something selfless this week. Those of you who may have never even heard of him, but, go do something truly, truly selfish. Maybe you've thought about volunteering at the soup kitchen or, donating some stuff to Habitat for Humanity or, and I'm not talking just taking your money and giving it, okay? Because anyone can give money. Let's be honest here. There's no effort involved in doing that. Of course, the effort of acquiring the money, but please go do something truly selfish, even if it pains you and even if you struggle with it, because there's not enough people doing enough nice things nowadays. And I feel that needs to change. So, guys, this week I'm not going to be running the outro because I simply didn't have time to recut it. But hopefully we'll get something new going here. And I didn't want to run the exact same one again, so that's why I'm not. So I just wanted to give a big thank you to all the people who helped make this show possible. Thank you for those wonderful comments, Donna and Rob. But yeah, thank you to all the people who helped make this show possible, all the lovely patrons, all our lovely sponsors too. I'd like to give a shout out to Prairie Grit, always helping us out on the back end. Go check them out if you haven't done so yet. Special thank you to our people over at 360, Pam, help me out here. I can't remember their name. The 360 band, the loop band thing that we were talking about. If you haven't visited our Instagram, go do that. Enter that contest. It closes tonight, I think. So go visit the Instagram, get signed up for that. Pam's going to select a winner for the 360 ID tag. And then, guys, get ready. We're going to be talking about Street Pricer here in the future. We got some work that we're doing with them. Street Pricer is going to be a eBay repricing tool. How wild is that? And can somebody convince Beth to stop thinking about joining Patreon and actually just go and do it? And here's the thing, Beth, I'm going to tell you something right now. If you sign up today, it's the 4th, okay? You won't get charged until the 1st next month or the 30th of this month, okay? So you're going to get a full free month if you go check it out right now, patreon.com/Bolorama, and we'll get you added into group chat tonight. And you can be part of the fun, part of the party, just, I don't know, have a good old time, okay? So again, thank you to everyone. This is a true pleasure to be able to come here, come into your home and present you with some high quality news and training. Please share this video with everyone that you know, mother, father, brother, son, uncle, neighbor, friend, whomever. Share it with them, let them know what's going on. This has been the Sunday Reseller Roundup for August 4th, 2019. My name again is Jay Kraft with the Facebook group Bolorama. And remember, guys, if you don't make that money, someone else will. Have a wonderful night.